If you want to take part in the prop betting, you got 1 minute to throw down a prop bet on whether or not we'll make it out of Act 1. The boss is the Hexaghost. My pathing is going to look something like this, or this. Then we're going to go through here, and then we've got 2 elites that we're going to try to go through. Depending on how we're going, we could actually go for this Empowered Elite. It's a lot of events, though, that I don't really want to be taking. Ideally, we're not going for that. Maybe something like this. Then we have a late shop to remove a strike and pick up some stuff. That's about what I'm looking at doing. That is Elite. Hard pull fight Elite, and we're bottlenecked into this Elite. So, worst case, we can duck off to the right here and go to this campfire and get 1 more Elite out of the act, but we lose a lot of potential from this shop over here if we go that route. But Slice was just buffed, you know? A good old Friday tea. All right, bets are in. The good spread. That is some good prop betting. 4-3, 60-40. Majority saying yes. That's a good split. Options are today, choose a card, obtain 100 gold. You have an early shop over here and here if we really wanted to do that, but we don't. 6 max HP to transform 2 and a boss relic swap. I think this is a pretty easy choice for me. I'm going to do 6 max HP to transform 2. We're going to transform both a strike and a defend into a bouncing flask and a spooky ghost form. In the long run, the deck just got a whole lot better. In the short term, interesting. The deck is very expensive. So we have problems there. Ouch. Ghost form? I don't know if this matters. It did matter. As long as we get the kill here. At 9 plus 6. Sounds like 15 to me. First card. Quick Slash versus Catalyst when we already have a bouncing flask in here. Let's take a Catalyst. Hey, Labro. Glad you made it back okay. Let's take some max HP here. Nice and easy. We get almost all of our max HP back. Pretty good. Good. Catalyst number 2. Now that's ridiculous. That's kind of ridiculous. Not actually good. The skewer's way better here. Yeah, we need the skewer. As good as the memes are with 2 catalysts already. Let's do the right play. That's crazy. Paid for 2 potions, get a poison potion and a ghost in a jar. This is wild. The Spire appears to feel bad about what it's been doing to me. What? Extremely mean. Ouch. The weakness is finally worn off. Nice and easy. Surprisingly difficult early double louse fight. Don't really want any of this. Deflect is okay on 3 energy if we get some extra card draw in here. Cloak and Dagger, it's kind of whatever. skip. Now we are going into an elite fight. I didn't need this strength potion for a lot of these elites, but like mainly tri-sentries I'm thinking about, where strength potion is going to be way better than our poison potion. Try Catalyst. I mean, Catalyst beats... Ugh. I was going to say 2 out of the 3 already. That's not very good. It's actively bad. Okay, I know how good Ghosts in a Jar is. I know. But we needed to get damage down. We're so slow in this fight. Hard for me to imagine actually getting out of here alive if we don't throw down as much damage as possible. And not only that, trying to go down a decent path after this. Trying to go this way while losing 10 HP at a time doesn't seem possible. We might die here or on the next fight. So we have exactly 6 damage coming around. If we do 21 here, goes to 15. We can add 11 on top of that. So it goes down to 4. So we would kill next turn with a strike. We don't have lethal otherwise in our draw pile for at least 3 turns. So as much as it sucks, this was our only out. Really rough. We do get a bag of snakes though, and a nightmare. Nightmare makes the deck so much worse again. We might just do... We probably don't want to unload. So unload as like it's a really good card right now, but this deck really wants to get a well-laid plans or a runic pyramid going for later. So unload is going to ruin all that. Nightmare is obviously very good with Catalyst and Wraith form already here, but that makes the deck so much worse for right here. Like, we might be forced to take this Endless Agony, even though I don't want it. Hurts. We're at 22. Nice. Stilled Chaos is here to save the day, I guess. Acrobatics is kind of cute. Eventually. We might just also want this Flying Knee for extra energy. Pairs well with our Skewer as well as Bouncing Flask plus other stuff. Man, I really wanted to go this way. Bag of snakes. So we're not going to end up going to this elite, unfortunately. This path is now off the table, but I just want to point out, I mean, there's at least a world where with this combination going into exactly Gremlin Knob or Lagavulin, where we draw Bouncing Flask Catalyst on turn 1 and then go into Wraith form and actually survive that fight okay. I'm not willing to take the risk. But not being attacked for the first turn there, a huge deal. Reserved Insect. So that would have actually made this much, much, much more viable. Nice, good fight. Relic quality super high, card quality also really high, especially, not necessarily just the things we've taken. We've had to kind of route away from this incredible late game combination that we got into more early game stuff just to make it through. All in all, it's going pretty well. Probably one of the better relics we could actually get from this next fight is a Lantern, guaranteeing 4 energy on turn 1 with 9 cards. Make a huge, huge difference. This one's on 10 now. We could actually do Endless Agony Skewer here and get the kill, so we can throw Strike here first. Ouch. Alright, decent fight. 15 gold. Blur is here. Just another card that says block on it. Considering the fact that I transformed one of our defends, taking another defend right now might not be the worst thing, though I don't know how I feel about it, really. A gambling chip would be sweet, too. Draw 18 cards on turn 1, potentially. Should you make a coffee? You could make a coffee. I'll admit that I have caffeinated tea next to me. It's not a great block card, though. It has a lot of upside and a lot of potential, but in terms of raw block, this is basically just defend, especially in the early game. It's not a very takeable card. You again. In 28. Nice. Good fight. No potion there, though. Predator is here, as well as this Cloak and Dagger again. Is barely better than the Blur that we just saw. Has some really nice breakpoints going into the Hexaghost fight, because Hexaghost doesn't ever hit you for 5, but does hit you for 6. Something to think about, I guess. I don't really want it. I just want cards that say block on them, but it's just not a very good one. I mean, Predator is nice, and it's nice going into the Hexaghost fight, but we already kind of have our Hexaghost kill condition here. Try to skip it. Really needed that Bouncing Flask to hit. Dang. so this is 14 damage. Think about this. So you're currently taking 17 over 2 turns. You're exactly on 17. Most likely we draw a kill next turn. Ugh. So we could probably double defend. We guarantee lethal with the skewer, but we take 11. We take 7 instead of 11. I think we get there. All right, 11 HP. Got a mummified hand for our troubles and a footwork I will absolutely take. Now we're at a very awkward amount of HP, and we have a lot of amazing upgrade targets going into Hexaghost. Now, admittedly, there are a lot of draws that might end up killing us, but not getting our Bouncing Flask upgraded when we have our Catalyst win condition already here. Also not getting Wraith Form upgraded, footwork. Feels really bad. It'd be cutting it close, but not getting our Bouncing Flask upgraded is also cutting it really close. I don't know if we have the damage. We don't cycle fast enough. We don't have any card draw in here. So our ability to get back around to Bouncing Flask for the second time and then play Catalyst. Really sketchy. Where are we? We're going into Hexaghost right now. I'm going to take the risk, because if we don't, I think we also might just die to Inferno. It's not being attacked this turn. And I believe we just win next turn. Nice. That's exactly why I felt like we needed to upgrade the Bouncing Flask. If we hadn't, the fight wouldn't have been quite that smooth. I'm not saying we lost if we didn't, but we would have been closer to losing than we were right there. For sure. Going to 4 energy seems amazing with our turn 1 combo and our high energy demanding deck, mainly in this Bouncing Flask and now Burst. Burst on 3 energy tends to be awkward, and we already have a Skewer in here, so I think this is an easy Philosopher's Stone. We also have a Footwork in here already to help negate the downside of Philosopher's Stone. But 4 energy on turn 1 is just so important with 9 cards that I think we're obligated to take energy. Made it look easy? Well, the Hexaghost is a lot easier when you're going into the fight at lower HP, since the turn 2 damage is based off your current HP. So if we healed there, we'd actually have more damage to block on turn 2 than we would have otherwise. So arguably with the Footwork already in there, and knowing that we would take probably no damage on turn 2, Made that a lot easier. Yeah, the burb emote. Thank you for the biddies and for the cheer mode. I love that one. Yeah, if that was the Dapper Slime, I agree, it would have been much, much different. I don't really want to go to 2 shops here. So I think this path is not very likely. And I really don't like going this way. Well, actually, you know what? It's not so bad. Maybe that is the way. So we go to this early shop, and then we can make decisions at this branch point. It's going to be very similar to this one. Same number of combats and events and so on. But we get a nice, like, very similar branch point here between Campfire Elite. But if we are able to go this way, then we can go into a really nice path. And if we don't, then we still can come up here and maybe take on this Empowered Elite, but I'm not sure. Hey, thank you for reminding me, Gathis. And congrats to Team Yes. I hope nobody was had any heavy sweats going into Hexaghost on 11 HP. All right, we will get the next one going for Act 2 here. I've already started talking about my path, so you guys got 1 minute to throw down those predictions if you'd like. I really like the idea of this. It really comes down to whether we actually pull the 3 birds with Philosopher's Stone on this first floor of Act 2. Just floor 18. I gotta remember that. Spent so much time in the Spire, you'd think that I'd know what the floors are by now. I know 50 and 51. But beyond that, I don't know. It's not useful information, usually. This left half is probably just an... Aha. Is the Chosen. Cue him up! It's like pre-moving in chess. Alright, Calculated Gamble is kind of cute with as much card draw as we have on turn 1. It's the draw after that I don't really like. Dodge and Roll is pretty good with our Footwork and Burst. Bursting Dodge and Roll is kind of nice, actually, but it's kind of a low-impact block card. It's the same problem with all of the Silence block cards, is they basically all say Defend on them. They really hover around that 5 number. We saw 5 on Blur, we saw 6 on Cloak and Dagger, and now we see 4 on Dodge and Roll. It's an inherent problem with the Silent, and why Footwork is like such an important pickup if you happen to see one. It's a really hard take for me. Might just be this gamble. Almost guarantees our turn 1s. Speaking of our turn 1s, Mutagenic Strength with all these cards is kind of fun. 3 strength on turn 1 with a ton of card draw. I think we're going to go ahead and do the transforms on the strikes, though. This is kind of tradition. Yeah, we get Strike Plus in Sucker Punch, and a Treadmilling Poison card in Noxious Fumes. Huge upgrade for strikes. Ah, yes. Now that's a block card. I do want to point out that the block per energy ratio on Leg Sweep is 5.5. It is hovering around that 5 number, but of course it applies weak, so throws it into a different category. But this is why the Silent struggles to put out damage. Like, you don't have Wrath Stance, Phantasmal Killer can like completely whiff on attack cards, but you're relying on your damage mitigation, but your damage mitigation relies so much on you being able to apply weak. And without Leg Sweep, it can be really difficult to do that. It's a no-brainer pickup for me. Acrobatics is probably also a buy, as well as a Strike Remove, because they are sneaky. This late shop. think we care about medical kit at all. Try to hang on to my Spire bucks. We're down to 1 strike right now. Really like that late shop. Ah, there are the birds with Philosopher's Stone. It is tradition. Ooh. So our weak potion is probably just for Book of Stabbing. We have a lot of sources of weak already. We could ditch it here to guarantee the full block. And also importantly, freeing up a potion slot. Since we're going into 2 more fights, the idea of investing a little bit of resource here to make this fight easier for us. It's not a great draw next turn. This one dies next turn. We have to deal with this one. But we will have probably Leg Sweep or enough blocks coming around. We could calculate a gamble just to try to cycle the deck a little bit, but we'll take 6. Enjoy Sucker Punch with Paper Crane. I also enjoy Sucker Punch with Paper Crane. Very good. Racing through my tea so I can get onto some Dad's famous apple juice. Not too bad. I think we took 6 damage from a Philosopher's Stone Birds fight. Pretty happy with that. Lachettes would be great on turn 1, kind of only, so we'll go ahead and skip that. The other ones weren't really options at this point. Thinking about digging for Catalyst, but carrying 5 energy into next turn with Confused seemed like just a better play. Did you get a gift sub? You might have. Yeah, you did actually earlier. Missed that. It happened to land on you. Yeah, we were memeing about sub goals, and Strawberry Waffles very kindly gifted out a sub, and it happened to hit you. Backstab is pretty okay with this much card draw on turn 1. But not really what I want to be doing. Setup is extremely expensive, even on expensive decks. It's a huge problem. The card is actively terrible. I mean, one of the worst in the Silence kit by far. It's like a D- or F tier card because you have to draw setup and the card that you want to make cheaper together. Already a problem. Okay, so they say that happens. Then you don't get to play the card that you want to play. You just make it free. It goes back into your draw pile, and then you have to draw it again. It's like 3 card draws before you can save yourself maybe some energy. It's just the worst valuation of a card. I mean, it's actively terrible. If you're thinking about whether or not you should take setup, it's probably always no. There's some cute stuff if you have a lot of extra card draw and the deck is pretty small. It can do something sometimes. Like, keep it in mind, stay creative, don't just see it and disregard it, but you kind of got to be looking at the deck going, man, a lot of card draw here, and we got a lot of we got like 3 bouncing flasks and a couple backflips or something. And even then, the sheer cost of setup in terms of card draw, 3 card draws to make something cheaper. Oof. It's really bad. Yeah, I mean backstab's okay here. It feels late to be taking it, but if we didn't have Bag of Prep here, I probably would not take that backstab. Tiny, tiny, tiny Book of Stabs. Oh, we didn't get the calculated gamble, and we didn't get burst bouncing flask on turn 1 either. So notably, this is a Philosopher's Stone Book of Stabbing. Okay. Hey, Mr. Quackums. This is the first one of the evening, so I'm in at a good time. So far, so good. Yeesh. Alright, now we just win next turn. A decent fight. Did not draw perfectly, but not so bad. Ooh, a boat thing. Start each combat with a boot sequence. Nice. And there's the Well-Laid Plans. So we passed on Unload sometime in Act 1 because we knew that Well-Laid Plans was going to be an ideal part of this deck, allowing us to hang on to Wraith Form, Catalyst, Burst, any number of things, and we have a Mummified Hand. It's just a super, super easy Well-Laid Plans. Making our upgrade decision tough, actually. Like, just getting Wraith Form upgraded seems really important. But with the Well-Laid Plans, the Footwork, the Burst... Tortilla Flat? Oh, that's a name I haven't heard in a little while. Thank you very much for the Tier 1 subby. Happy 3rd Burb Day to you, my friend. I'm doing quite well, thank you. I don't want to do this. We really want to calculate a gamble this turn to get around to some more block cards. I don't want to drop Backstab again, and we kind of want to get Bouncing Flask down. Guess we don't need it. No, we have both Burst and Catalyst coming around. But if we do it this turn, then we can't really block. It's Sucker Punch, Defend, Calculated Gamble, but I want to be able to Leg Sweep. This blocks 7. So it's kind of a net gain. If... Yeah, not so bad. Not perfect, but not so bad. This turn is the big stink. I believe we get out of it, though. Could both make you weak and defend here, or just Wraith Form. Obviously not doing Catalyst yet. Private Snowball. Things are going very well. Thank you, thank you. Hope all is well with you. All right, this is our last free turn, but we do have well-laid plans to hang on to this burst. We have exactly Bouncing Flask and Catalyst coming around, so not so bad for being one of the hardest fights in the game. Alright. Weak Potion is here, another copy of Catalyst, sure. Now, the real issue here is we only have one source of poison in Bouncing Flask. We really need to get Noxious Fumes upgraded. Meat on the Bone says hello. We do have an explosive potion for Tri-Slavers. Gremlin Leader could be kind of a problem because Noxious Fumes doesn't say plus. But we have a Wraith form for both. We have Catalyst for Gremlin Leader and Steph. Kinda just want to rest because I'm scared of Power Deletes in Act 2, though. Rude Girls, hey! Oh, welcome on in again, my friends. Hey, bud. Good emote. I recognize that one. Welcome on in, everybody. I hope the runs treated you well tonight. We're just getting started, so a good time to come in. This is our first run of the evening. We got your classic poison package. We got your well-laid plans. We got your Wraith Form Plus. We're doing some fun things. This is Act 2, yeah. Currently deciding if we want to rest or upgrade a card before our Empowered Elite here in Act 2. So we're going one of these directions here. Ultimately going to this node and this late shop with this much money. Could also go to this late elite too, because we have a preserved insect and a pretty good kit for killing Book of Stabbing, amongst others. Like, there's definitely a world where our amazing turn 1 just gets us the kill. Backstab makes both fights that we're looking at a lot easier with our explosive potion. I'm gonna roll the dice just a little bit. Caution myself to even say rolling the dice, because it's not that much of a dice roll. Burst is an amazing upgrade too, allowing us to both burst Bouncing Flask and Catalyst on a turn. Burst is absolutely a consideration, and I'm going to go ahead and say that it might have even been correct. Very good upgrade there. This has to go here. Ugh. Actually, I should have saved Calculated Gamble there, right? Maybe. Sweet. Good fight. You take 0 damage, which actually, you know what? I did that wrong. We should have tried to take 5 for Meat on the Bone. We might have been able to that turn. Forgot about Meat on the Bone. Ink Bottle is okay. There's our Unload, which we are happily going to skip on. Let's see. Thwack is here. This is a very rare Thwack. Now, We might be able to do this. It's going to cost us some potions, probably. Think about how I want to do this. Totally happy to throw down some potions to get Thwack going. Could probably just get away with Wraith Form this turn, but it doesn't make for very interesting next turn. Though we have 2 powers we can play, which will make 2 things free. Hopefully it's landing on either Flying Knee or Bouncing Flask. Is this a stream where we talked about fried chicken? I don't believe that's come up. But I wouldn't put it against us to have like maybe talked about that at some point, but I don't think so. And then this doesn't matter. I once again didn't really do the meat on the bone thing. We'll try to play a couple more cards for Ink Bottle. Playing Long War 2, nice. To victory. Now, notably and interestingly, Preserved Insect does work on Thwack. I feel like I should create a Spire Jeopardy thing and try to get a bunch of streamers to play Spire Jeopardy. That would be a decent question. Though, how would you phrase it? Not for. Let's just remove the Jeopardy part of it. Not in terms of a question, but like, how would you say? Because you can't just ask, "Does Preserved Insect work on Thwack?" Because then people are just gonna say yes. Because you'd be like, "Oh yeah, it does." Or just assume that it wouldn't even be a good question if it did. Not want that to hit Wraith Form. But we could just Wraith Form here. I think we really need this skill potion. Our Ink Bottle on 9 for next turn. Insect doesn't work on dual orb walkers. That is an interesting one. See? There's some good questions in there we could do for Spire Jeopardy. You are dying way too slowly. Noxious and true. I guess Gremlin Knob is yeah, these are both technically elite mobs. I guess that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I didn't really think about it in those terms. I just thought about elite combats, but these are both elite enemies. I guess that makes sense. All right. That is a 0 damage thwack. Our Ink Bottle on 9. Guria's here. Liquid Bronze. Another copy of Noxious Fumes is a solid maybe. Especially with our Mummified hand. I mean, we're not skipping Guria, so we'll just take it. Start every combat with an attack in our hand. No? Can I just say no? And of course we can. We can just skip it here, but... Bottle Backstab. was a great idea. I love a good meme. We will bottle our backstab. Bottle stops falling. Oh no, it actually had a negative side that I hadn't considered. We kind of want falling to go off on backstab at a certain point. No, it's okay. We were removing strike anyway, and then we could remove endless agony probably before the backstab, because backstab goes away. I really don't mind. Pretty good. Actually didn't need to strike there because we have 5 poison coming in. Bottle on 7, another 0 damage fight. These cards don't say poison on them, so we're going to pass. Now we can completely take this elite, no problem at all. We have our Emerald Key piece, so we can go wherever we want in Act 3. What are we even doing at the shop? We're just looking for poison cards, which would be nice, of course. Looking for... Like, we only have 1 strike left. We could remove this strike. It's going to cost us 100 Spire bucks. Yeah, we took Endless Agony early because we were running into issues with both having Bouncing Flash, Wraith Form, and Catalyst. We needed attack cards to get through those early elites. I think we take this elite. This is free rewards. These are rewards we have to pay for. Dead next turn, we will work on setting up our ink bottle. The clean fight. Another one where I didn't proc meat on the bone. Maha Bank is our reward. Okay. Calculated Gamble Plus is cute, but we already have one. We're just going to take this nice card that says block on it. Yeah, I mean, we can still get them, right? Because we have all this money, and now we're going to have even more thanks to our friend Mabank. Not a great relic, admittedly. Like, if we had known somehow that Mabank was going to come from here, maybe we could have made some decisions. And maybe, like, that's an interesting frozen eye equivalent. I've suggested the frozen nose in the past to go with the frozen eye. The frozen nose tells you your enemy's intent for the next turn, because there's enough enemies where it's random. So if you could know, like, if Gremlin Leader's going to attack you next turn, that would be a relic probably worth investing in. Got, like, too many things to upgrade here. Well-laid plans. I mean, how do you even choose? Let's do well-laid plans for the Bronze Automaton. I know, Burst is so good. Would each enemy attack have a unique smell? Well, you gotta smell what's coming. So you can see what's coming in your draw pile. Now you gotta smell what's coming. You can smell their fear. Or something. Let's do well-laid plans. Too important for the Bronze Automaton fight. If we're gonna forego a rest before Bronze Automaton, then we're gonna need to be able to hang on to these cards. Now it is a hunt for our noxious fumes. We can treadmill this poison. Guy's stealing our Wraith form. Do we wait for burst here with this catalyst? No, because we need to play both these cards, so we need to discard something. It's enough poison. We're stealing my burst anyway. We wouldn't have gotten it. Aha, perfect meat on the bone value. I mean, you gotta know it's coming. We're gonna get there eventually. Bottle progress. Nice, good fight. Didn't even make it to Hyper Beam. Our old friend, Weak Potion, and the skip button. We don't want any of this. We're not proccing Grand Finale, even with well-laid plans. 1,000 Cuts, of course, no, and Doppelganger is the big stink without a Chemex. Not a fan. Empty Cage is here, allowing us to draw through to more useful cards more often. Also, just removing Strike and Endless Agony at this point seems huge. With our turn 1's draws being 9, not having Strike and Endless Agony ever being drawn together lines up like an amazing burst upgrade, so we could always burst Bouncing Flask Catalyst. Deck needs no draw. I still think this deck is I agree with the idea that the deck is good enough to where at 25 cards and 9 cards on turn 1, it's not that bad if we just go a few turns after that. But with this mummified hand and having 4 powers in here that we can play, 5 that we're probably not playing, and something that we're trying to set up in Bouncing Flask Catalyst, this is exactly why I think Ring of the Snake is so good on the Silent, why I have a hard time with the swaps, because we have something we're trying to do now. We just have to draw through to it. We have to get our Bouncing Flask. Hopefully Burst is lining up with this other stuff. I think this Empty Cage is huge value. Strike and Endless Agony. Going down to 23 cards and 1 hour in. Just going to point out where our shops are so I can make some decisions based on that. Late shop with a Maw Bank seems like an okay idea if the path is good. We don't need to rush to a shop. There's nothing that we're absolutely dying for. What we're looking for is upgrades right now, I think. Our ability to pull upgrades, getting our burst upgraded, maybe footwork, this other catalyst, Noxious Fumes. Like, we're capping out on damage really quickly, especially if we can get these cards upgraded. So that would look something like this then. So going to that campfire, we have 2 hard pool fights, another hard pool fight. We get 2 elites out of this act. This is 1 opportunity at Mind Bloom. But that is 1, 2, 3, 4 campfires. We have to recall it 1. This is our Sapphire Key, and we get a late shop out of the deal. Maw Bank is going to give us a lot of extra money to the point where we can spend a lot here and then still have money left over for the Act 4 shop if we happen to make it. If we want to, we could go to this elite, taking 3 elites. With Preserved Insect, I'm not particularly scared of any of the elites this act outside of just Reptomancer because it's Reptomancer. But our turn 1 with Empty Cage should pull us into Burst Bouncing Flask Catalyst pretty often. Plus we have Calculated Gamble. How do you know if a pool is hard or not? If a fight is from the hard pool or not? The game doesn't actually show that to you. You just have to derive it based on intuition or have somebody tell you what it is. In the first act, Act 1, the first 3 combats, so what would be like these 3 here in Act 1 would be from the easy pool, And then you start pulling from the hard pool fights. So this is going to be like single Jawworm, single Cultist, and then any fight after that. So this one would then start being from the hard pool fight. You can pull the medium-sized slime that splits on that 4th combat. Just name your worst, like the gang of gremlins, the bunch of like little slimes that come together. So when you're choosing your pathing in Act 1, a lot of the times you'll see people skip this 4th combat before a campfire so they can basically guarantee an upgrade on a card. In Act 2 and 3, that changes. So it's just your first 2 combats are from the easy pool fight. And then this 3rd combat is going to be from the hard pool. New bet for Act 3. Thank you for reminding me. Nobody voted no. Nobody could have thrown down a single channel point and potentially gotten all of those. Not that we lost. All right, new prop bet for Act 3 if you choose to partake. Regardless of what we decide, we can make a decision at this branching point here. The other paths are fine, but I really want to prioritize upgrades. See, we make 3 things free, so we can just play all of this. Oh, you ruined it, Ink Bottle. Alright, whatever. Alright, got Ink Bottle back to 7. Crippling Cloud Plus, as well as Acrobatics Plus. These are both fantastic additions. Acrobatics is going to be really, really good going into like a Fun Eater fight, as well as Donu Deca and all that stuff. We want this card around. But this is Crippling Cloud Plus, so we're gonna take that. Double Orb Walkers. This is where most runs fall apart. Look, we did thwack without taking any damage, so what could possibly go wrong here? Yeah, burst. Bottle on 7. We got 2 more turns to kill these guys. All right. We win! So we work on Ink Bottle. Fight. Took 0 against both Double Orb Walkers and Thwack. We get Winged Boots, a Ghost in a Jar, which we are hopefully hanging on to until the end of the game. Now things have changed. Now we can potentially take on extra elites. I gotta see. So, like, we could go to this campfire, get an upgrade, go to this elite, and then go back to this campfire. This elite. Let's see, so this would be 1, 2. If we wanted to skip the shop, we could get another upgrade out of this act. We could go from here to here. Interesting. We'll decide later. Extra stores. Admittedly, like, we're going into too much gold territory. Just because we won't I mean, we can spend it all still. That's not a huge problem. No, 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 no. Yeah, there's just so few cards that this deck actually needs at this point. Wow. Right here. Right here. Ooh. Friction almost worked. Need like a corpse explosion at this point. Not a lot left. Eltis Potion is kind of cute. Terror Plus is probably a no. We're not doing that with this deck. The Bird with Arms could be a challenge for us, but none of that really helps. Eltis Potion is... probably not... maybe not better than Explosive Potion. Just thinking about Reptomancer in general. Still want that Lantern for turn 1. That would really turn things around. Well, keep things going in the right direction, I should say. This sucks. Ouch. Jerk. You've ruined everything. Maybe that means Wraith Form on turn 1 was correct. That's a lot of damage to be taking at this point, with how strong this deck is. Ouch. But meat on the bone. Never mind, it was perfectly calculated. 43. Deadly Poison doesn't say plus on it, but it is another poison card. No, we'd have to upgrade it, I think. Skewer for free for an ink bottle. Yeah, the block situation is definitely a problem. Absolutely agree with that. But I still don't want to take things that are like dodge and roll. I want block cards that say plus on them. Or leg sweeps. It's tough. This is why I was advocating for like thinking about a survivor upgrade for a really long time. Copy of Bouncing Flask. Also needs to say plus. That's... I don't know. So, like, another copy of Bouncing Flask would be really nice, but it begins to dilute our deck to where, like we were just saying, if we keep taking poison cards, then we don't draw block cards. Sadistic Nature would be okay. The issue that I have with Sadistic Nature right now is that we have to draw it and play it. So even with Mummified Hand, and even though it does really good damage for us, we might just not need it. So that, like, this poison package is already enough to kill every enemy in the game. So that's why I'm skipping on Deadly Poison, why I'm skipping on Bouncing Flask, because we already kill everything. It's just a matter of drawing it in the right order or hanging on to it with well-laid plans. Crippling Cloud Plus was an exception because it says weaken, amongst other things. Thoughts on aggressively using Calculated Gamble? So I haven't been using it very much, which maybe is what you're alluding to. But I like it in general. The issue is, like, we're drawing so many cards that usually something in our hand is worth playing on turn 1. I'm kind of struggling to find a way to actually do that. Well, hopefully we don't take a ton of damage next turn. That's this better not be 45, and we better draw block cards. Oh, good, it's 46. Like, unironic Ghosts in a Jar. I mean, with this going to 10, this is 24. We go pretty low, but we do have meat on the bone. I think we take the damage here. Especially with meat on the bone. Tough Bandages. Whenever you discard a card during your turn, gain 3 block. That's amazing. This Deadly Poison says plus on it. It changes some things. I like it. I like that it's targeted, so we can always throw it on a single enemy. So if we're thinking about, like, Reptomancer fight or the Shield Spear fight where we want to target our poison, that gets pretty good, because currently our only Deadly Poison is Crippling Cloud Plus, which is expensive. This, seems like a take. That one's pretty good. Now, we could go here. Or we just recall and go into this fight. Just recall early. Now, this has to be our Sapphire Key. Instead of the boot, you'd love to see it. All right. Not exactly what I was hoping for, but okay. If we defend, hold on, let me think about this. Defend, footwork is always 3. Trying to think if we can always play Footwork to get Crippling Cloud and Bouncing Flask in play this turn? I don't think so. Yeah, we're always doing Burst Crippling Cloud. I'm just trying to think if there's a cute play with this Footwork, because I don't really want it to hit these defends, since we have Piercing Wail. These are both dead for next turn. Piercing Wail is going to be one of our better block cards for next turn. Hey, money, money, loot. Okay. So this shouldn't be too bad. It's gonna kill, right? This goes to 26 times 2 is definitely not a kill. Now, we do have Burst coming around, so I kind of want to hang on to this Deadly Poison, but it feels just a smidgen risky. Yeah, Wail's amazing. You throw on, like with Runic Pyramid, you just keep taking Piercing Wail. So few reasons to ever stop taking Piercing Wail with Runic Pyramid. Their okay fight will heal off of it thanks to Meat on the Bone. Snecko's Skull is here. That's amazing. Whenever you apply poison, apply an additional 1 poison. Nobody stop me. Bullet time or Boule time is okay. I don't know if we need it is the problem. Let's try it out. I can see a world where it has enough of an impact where it's worth taking. It's like we're upgrading either Catalyst or Noxious Fumes. Or Footwork, actually. Yeah, we do need that Acrobatics now. 100% agree. Yeah, I only took it because we have well-laid plans right now. Otherwise, I would not have taken Bullet. Now, we didn't draw Burst, and we have well-laid plans, so maybe we, Yeah, I think we wait on these poison cards with well-laid plans. We'll just play everything else. Swanee! Thank you very much for 7 months at Tier 1. Much appreciate the support, my friend. Good to see your name pop back up again. Good stuff. Sundial is here to do something sometimes. Backflip just for some card draws, okay. Not amazing, but guess we'll take it anyway. Oh, oh no, we almost made it the entire act. I mean, those of you who are here pretty often, how often do I fight the freaking Writhing Mass? It's every single run I see this nerd. Every single time. Whether I want to or not. This guy shows up in every single run. Unavoidable. Alright. 2%. I gotta get this Peggle thing going. Alright, if you're here for the first time, you don't know what the heck is going on. Why isn't this guy just killing the Writhing Mass in one shot with these catalysts? Exclamation point Peggle, that's P-E-G-G-L-E in chat. Every time we fight the Writhing Mass, or every time somebody redeems 10,000 channel points once per stream, we get to play a round of Peggle. Why? Why? The Writhing Mass sucks and should be removed from the game. We are currently playing with, excuse me, one spooky jack-o'-lantern. If you are 6 years or younger, please exit the room for the next 5 minutes or so, because it's about to get really spooky here. Don't look, we got a spooky spider in the top right angle. Ooh. Eerie effect, a spooky ball goes out the bottom and reappears at the top. That's what we're working with. Currently in the spider's web, I guess. I want to hit these very early on while there's more pegs here to take advantage of it. Ba-da-da. So what this means is, oh no, we missed the bucket. Oh, but it comes back. Extra spooky. Oh, you get the best noise in the world. Dude, that should be my sub sound right there. The Peggle free ball sound. I get sued by EA or something though. Anyway, we'll go for this next green peg. I think we got it here. I just missed it. All right, well, I didn't plan for not hitting 100% of the shots that we do take. Something like this. There it is. I think it's a little bit late for second spooky ball. Hopefully something good comes of it. Okay, not amazing. We got a lot of ground to cover here. We got the entire left and right side. We got red pegs from top to bottom. Things that you hate to see, followed by things that you love to see. I'm telling you, we got the angles here. A squared plus B squared equals Dane squared. Something like this. No! And the spider has woven a web. An inescapable... we almost got it. An inescapable mess. Now, 5 balls left. We got a lot of red pegs, a lot of ground to cover here. Still. Ooh. Long shot bonus. 4 balls. We got 6 pegs left. It's getting a little tight. I don't know. Oh my. All right, that didn't go according to plan. Needed a little bit more bounce there. The spider might get us. We need something amazing to happen here. Ooh. Something amazing? You mean every stream at twitch.tv/FirstDane? I do mean that. Ooh. Oh, no! Oh, unlucky bounce. All right, this is a tough shot. This is 1993 Michael Jordan. I think we can do it. I think we can do it. That's not hitting it, is it? That's not hitting it. Is that hitting it? Oh, it's hitting it. Extreme. Oh my goodness. 10,000 points because we don't even need them. Keep them. Fever score 11,000. Total score 8.8 1.69 nice million. Literally unbeatable. Cobra bumpers, yikes. Watch out for those 5 bumpers on the Cobra. All right. 6 years and older can now re-enter the room. Spooky time is over. Fear not. Fear not. All right, Spire, come back. Something with the Java deal. It really hates going back to Slay the Spire once I don't have it here anymore. Go back. Properties. Go back. There we go. Noxel, my friend, thank you very much for 10 months. Rip Roar and Noxel. 10 amazing months. Very much, man. We don't have our calculated gamble here. No fun. Alright, I'm pretty sure we just win this fight as long as we don't lose it, so we're gonna hang on to these catalysts. Am I a developer? No. Definitely not. Got him. Ink bottle only on 4, though. Alright, Acrobatics Plus finally came back around. We don't need to think about that one. That's the S tier pickup for us, right? But there's the sadistic nature we were talking about that we probably don't need. Oh, my cursor has a Maw Bank on it. Cute. So this must be part of that Minty Spire pack deal. Is this the rare setup take? How much gold from Maw Bank? 204. Yeah, I mean, sadistic nature's fine. Definitely not bad. It's just, I don't think we need it. Like, what are we going to do with the sadistic nature that we don't already do? We already damage cap everything. Kill it. Yeah, Maw Bank is stuck on the cursor. This is my first time seeing this, so I just started playing with mods, but this must be a part of the Minty mod pack Spire deal on the Steam Workshop, showing me that if I click anything, Maw Bank is going to be very sad. Also, it's just kind of trying to eat the cursor. Nom, nom, nom. Okay, card remove. What can we do with a card remove? Cannot remove our backstab. Dang it. Why did we bottle this? Whose idea was it to bottle that? Yeah, Flying Knee's pretty bad. I agree with that. Probably never playing Flying Knee, and at least Sucker Punch has a use. Skewer, yeah. Yeah, like this package right here is probably nothing. Skewer, I don't, like, a lot of these aren't even worth the draw, but at least Skewer can play it at 0 energy for 1 ink bottle proc. A 10th of a card draw. I still think Backstab, we would keep Backstab around more than we would keep this package. Didn't get Neutralizer Leg Sweep upgraded. So probably keeping Sucker Punch around for like a Bird with Arms fight, since they go long and we need weak. Yeah, and it ruins Artifact. That's a good point too. Probably the Flying Knee. Toy Ornithopter could actually be okay, just for some extra HP. Not so bad. Like, I mean, not so bad as in it's probably worth taking. We're gonna have a hard time spending this much money in the Act 4 shop. It's definitely possible. Some expensive relics and maybe another card remove. Don't need one of these. Don't need 1 strength. Or this thing. I picked Hand Drill several months back. I just wanted to try it. It had been so long. Was not worth it. Still actively bad. So I'm thinking we either upgrade all of our block cards by upgrading Footwork here, or we just upgrade Leg Sweep for more weak. Probably Footwork, yeah? Upgrade all cards that say block in your deck. Nice. Where'd the music go? What's happening? We just Wraith form now. Do we win in time? Let me hang on to both Catalysts. Probably, right? Probably, almost, definitely. Oh, that was an amazing hit there. And we shuffled through this defend too. It really worked out there with Ink Bottle and Wraith Form. Don't have Noxious Fumes down, so that's taking the wrong direction. And we have to be careful with Time Warp too. Oh, I was supposed to burst that. Dang it. No, it's still fine, because we're hanging on to burst Catalyst here. Yeah, never mind. False alarm. Get out of here, bud. Turn 1 Wraith Form against the Time Eater for all those times that you've ended my runs. Ran out of fun to eat, you jerk. Oh, this fight's a little bit more challenging, since we have so many powers that are just gonna get in the way. And they're all semi-important. Maybe we don't need this Noxious Fumes down, but we do need well-laid plans, Footwork, Noxious Fumes. And we don't want to keep drawing them. Okay. Footwork and Noxious Plus. Both very good. Now, this is Philosopher's Stone Awakened one. To be at least slightly mindful of the fact that this guy's going to hit really hard on the multi-attack, which might be next turn. And we don't have well-laid plans in play, so next turn might be a problem. I don't know if we need this Noxious Fumes, but it would help a lot here, since currently we're struggling to kill these guys outside of Crippling Cloud Noxious Fumes. Let's do the Baylor trick. It's the Baylor trick? Ow. Yeah, we can try to do Strength down with the Piercing Wail. I do think this is for sure necessary. As well as this, so weak applies next turn. If we had Paper Crane, this would be so much easier. I feel like 9 strength would be too much. So if we Noxious Fumes and Well-Laid Plans, it's going to go to 9 strength. That's a lot for the bird with arms. I'm going to try to go without Noxious Fumes this fight, but it might be a problem. We'll see. We'll see. So as soon as we do 3 damage here, which we can easily do with just Neutralize, both of these birds are dead. So we're blocking 18. Yikes. Just by doing this. Guess I should have done that first. Oops. Ouch. So again, without this well-laid plans, do have some problems, like for next turn. Do have burst leg sweep for next turn, so maybe it's not so bad. We're only blocking for 16 here without well-laid plans. I wonder if we ever win without Catalyst. Probably, right? We could double Catalyst first phase, and then we just win. Or this phase is done as of next turn. We don't have well-laid plans in play, though, so we'd have to both Catalyst, defend, well-laid plans this turn. We take a bit of damage. Dang, we did not get the well-laid, or the piercing well here. So we weren't guaranteed to draw this defend. Which is why I wanted to use the Catalyst last turn. Because otherwise it was just burst this, we do 28 block, and we're taking a ton on top of that. So we're hanging on to burst, leg sweep, defend. Or burst leg sweep, excuse me. We just do this. Oof. Okay. Still spooky. So 36 block we're going to have to come up with pretty regularly. This is going to come down to getting rid of these powers, really, so we can just keep drawing cards that say block on them. Also, just getting rid of Piercing Whale is going to be good block for us over time. Good. 18 damage is pretty easy for us. We're almost there. Just a couple more turns and we'll be just fine. This is going to be one of the worst ones we have to deal with. There's a Wraith form here. Otherwise, we are blocking for 14 plus 8. Not enough. So we about win next turn if we just play some attacks. I'm gonna do a bullet time just to guarantee that we can get this ink bottle off. Nice. Very spooky fight, but we got there in the end. $23.53 going into Act 4. Now, either one more upgrade or a few more HP going into these next few fights. I feel like maybe we could maybe justify a calculated gamble upgrade because we have both well-laid plans and tough bandages, but I feel like we're hanging on to Wraith form for a while. Backflip is okay. Leg sweep is okay. Most of what we need to actually win the game is already upgraded here. If not everything. We do have Toy Ornithopter value coming up. We don't have any other healing relics, though. Got a meat on the bone. I'm gonna take HP. Just to be safe. I don't think there's anything there that we absolutely need. This is pretty good. So this is almost really a Corpse Explosion pickup. Strawberry is actually not terrible here either. Gonna get another card remove, I think, on this Skewer. And let's take a look at some cards with Orrery, just in case we cannot buy that Corpse Explosion. Other Piercing Whale is pretty sweet. After Image is pretty sweet. Another well-laid plan. Let's do After Image. Let's do another copy of Piercing Wail, and I think the rest of it's pretty skippable. Second well-laid plans is pretty good, but we have to draw it and play it, and I just don't think we need to be hanging on to 3 cards versus 2. As nice as it is. It would allow us to hang on to both Catalyst and a Poison card for a couple weird draws, but let's not do that. Take a Strawberry, maybe another copy of this Leg Sweep for a chunky block card. Let's do that. We don't really need the Explosive Potion, but the other ones are... I don't know. Flex just isn't very useful. Fear Potion also isn't very useful. Actually, you know what? Maybe it was... You know, I should have thought about that. Maybe it was Fear Potion because that removes an artifact for Shield and Spear. Yeah, it was. Let's just do that. We don't need that other Leg Sweep, I don't think. All right. We have the small Shield and Spear. Okay. Pretty good turn 1. 3 powers to make 3 things free. Okay. We have 36 incoming. We can apply Weak to Spear. We do also have well-laid plans. I really like hanging on to Piercing Wail and Calculated Gamble here for next turn, though. Which means we do Crippling Cloud for Artifact Strip. And it applies Weak over here, I guess. Yeah, we're saving Calculated Gamble for next turn. Since we're getting 2 burns on top of the draw pile, this is always going to block for 4 plus 6 for this turn. Okay, so what do we like for next turn? Probably Piercing Wail and... Piercing Wail Bullet Time. Might be enough. It's a little awkward because we didn't get this Bouncing Flask in play. So we can still burst Catalyst over here and it's okay. We really just need to kill Spear. Leg Sweep does allow us to turn around. So maybe it could be like Piercing Wail Leg Sweep. Bullet Time's really good. Advanced Ink Bottle one, since I wasn't hanging on to either of those. We just Wraith Form. Wraith Form, Catalyst, block with After Image. Got Burst Deadly Poison next turn, and we're basically at the death of Spire Spear. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're probably cycling through this ink bottle. I really like Papa's Guria emote. I think that one's amazing. All right, trying to get ink bottle to 9. We could also keep ink bottle really low, with the idea that we want extra card draw for turn 2 against the heart, and turn 1 is kind of already solved with this much card draw. Kind of like that. It is, so it's fewer card draws through the heart fight. Like if we put this on 9, we're going to be able to cycle back around to another card draw later, so leaving it low is fewer card draws. But I kind of like the idea of having it lower for turn 2. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. Art of War. Excellent, excellent pickup. You do not play any attacks during your turn, gain an additional energy next turn. We've removed most of our attacks here, outside of the ones that apply weak and Sucker Punch. Guess this backstab. Right, after that fight, we come out of there with a nice 69 gold. Things you love to see. All right, we need a lot of stuff for this turn. We need our well-laid plans because we have Piercing Whale here. We do have a second copy coming up. We can backstab, acrobatics, bullet time, and get a lot of stuff in play, but currently what we have in our hands isn't good enough. So we could also just full calculated gamble here. Maybe we throw in footwork, backstab, acrobatics, something like that. Try to draw around to more useful stuff. So a couple lines here. I don't want to draw backstab again, but it's going to cost us an energy to play for next turn. I also really don't like. This might just be... This is just calculated gamble. I'm going to do like backstab, footwork, calculated gamble. Or do we backstab, footwork, acrobatics, and then maybe calculated gamble? Way more card draw. It really only allows us to get our powers in play, but we were looking for well-laid plans. Ooh, that is good. So we don't get full weak, but we get weak for next turn. We get Noxious Fumes to help treadmill that poison, and then we can carry both Piercing Whale for the next multi-attack, and we have Ghost in a Jar for the big attack. Things are looking good. Much, much better there. The bad news is we have 5 status cards coming up, and we only had 7 cards in the draw pile. So something like this was almost inevitable. It's alright. Yeah, 4 out of 5 status cards. Honestly, that's fine. Now, this is Philosopher's Stone art. And to sneeze at. We don't have burst here. It's slimed free? Are you kidding? Woohoo! Burst Piercing Whale looks good there. Come on. Come on. That is it. GG. Perfect heart fight. 0 damage taken. Ooh, that one was good from the start. Still 2 hours? What? Why are my runs so long? Oh well, great run. I mean, that was amazing. We did whack 0 damage. We did double orb walker 0 damage. We did the heart 0 damage. I mean, this one, the closest fight was easily Awakened one because we couldn't play down our powers and so on. But all in all, really good. We did Transform 2 at the very start of the run if you weren't here. We did a Strike and Defend into Wraith form and Bouncing Flask. And that was, I mean, they got upgraded and that ended up being a core component of the deck moving forward. Really love what we kind of did from there on out. We didn't find the most amazing relics, to be honest. We found some really good ones, don't get me wrong. Preserved Insect, Mummified Hand, Snecko Skull, Tough Bandages, all pretty amazing. Ink Bottle's okay. Meat on the Bone did some stuff. 60 healing from Meat on the Bone. Preserved Insect early, though. HP removed 512. If you don't know, one of the highest damage relics in the game, next to pretty much none. I mean, there's niche instances where other relics do about this much damage, but holy, that's a lot. 512. Tough Bandages giving us 114 block, and we picked it up late. Snecko's Skull applying 96 poison, picked it up late. And Art of War gave us 4 energy in the heart fight, which didn't even go on that long, so I think that's pretty dang good. Didn't end up needing the Strawberry. Orrery was okay. Loved picking up the crippling, or the Corpse Explosion for this fight. But all in all, it was an excellent, excellent run.